Hi, I'm Bob Harris. Welcome to Durman's educational video series. This video series is going to consist of working with urethane concrete. Now, some of you may have seen a past video on the Durman website on urethane concrete. What we're demonstrating on this video is the new and improved version of the urethane concrete. The previously shown version of the urethane concrete had a working life or a pot life somewhere around 8 to 10 minutes, where this is doubled in the working time. So we have up to 20 minutes of working time. So it's a substantial improvement over previous generations. So what we're going to be demonstrating is the SC, the Perdure UMC SC, which is the seal coat. And as you'll see, it's in a part 1, part 2, and a part 3. We're going to also demonstrate the Perdure UMC Trowel grade, which is the same, part 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to demonstrate the self-leveling, which is also part 1, 2, and 3. On any 3 of these systems, you have the ability to tint or pigment the material, and we'll be demonstrating that in this video series as well. On the SC, which is what we're going to demonstrate today, that stands for seal coat. So there's always a question with using urethane cements on, do we need to actually prime or seal the surface? So the question is, it really is dependent on the substrate. If you don't seal or pre-prime using the SC here, the material, the TG, the trowel grade, or the self-leveling grade will adhere, but sometimes you may see some slight pinholing. So if you're in an environment where you can't have any blemishes in the surface, Durman recommends to go ahead and always prime with the seal coat, and that's what we're going to demonstrate during this video series. Now, why would you consider using a urethane cement? You've got the thermal shock capabilities or qualities of the material. For example, in a food prep where you're washing the floor with hot water or cold water, so that's a good scenario in which you would use it. But also in an industrial type setting where you've got heavy traffic area and you need the ultimate durability and stain resistance, is typically why you would choose to use a urethane concrete. So we're going to get ready and demonstrate on the seal coat, so we'll show you how that mixes up. We're going to mix our SC, which is the seal coat. You could, if you say perhaps you had pre-existing urethane concrete and you just wanted to enhance that, you could pigment this right into the SC, but we're not going to for this video. We're going to demonstrate this on the trowel grade and also the self-leveling grade. So for now, we're going to go ahead and start with part 1, and we're going to go ahead and put that in the bucket. And then right after, Douglas is going to dump part 2. I'm going to mix that for 1 minute. And after 1 minute of mixing time, he's going to dump in the part C powder, and we're going to mix that for 1 additional minute. So that's 2 solid minutes of mixing. And then once we have mixed it thoroughly, we're going to apply it. Now, this is a small batch, so we're only using a small squirrel mixer, as you can see here. So obviously on a full larger batch, you would want to use a larger drill and a larger paddle as well. All right, we just mixed part 1 and 2 for 1 minute, and now Douglas is going to go ahead and put part 3 in, the powder, as you can see. So we're going to go ahead and put in the part 3, mix that for 1 additional minute. Okay, we've mixed for the additional minute. Now what we're going to do is take the drill paddle off. You can see right here we've got the VOC compliant tool cleaner. It's a good product. It's VOC compliant where some of the other solvents are in fact not VOC. So we want to just go ahead right now, just get that cleaned off, and so we're good to go. So that'll set. Now it's time to put it down. Now for this for this video, we're actually working in a very confined small area. Normally you would use a notched squeegee like we've demonstrated in previous videos. And this product you would want to put down at 15 to 20 mils thick. Remember how we showed you that on a previous video. It comes already labeled at the proper mil thickness relative to this material. But because we're working in such a small area, we're going to just use a notched trowel, and it's going to achieve the same effect. All right. Once we've notch squeegee this all down, then we're going to back roll the material. I think you've got enough in here. I think that's good. Okay. Hey Douglas, if you would take a chip brush and brush the corners for us, please. Thank you. All right, we've just notched squeegee down our SC as a starting point for our urethane concrete. As you've seen in previous videos, we always want to delint the roller. I can really see the lint accumulating on this roller right here. Another little trick that I've seen a lot of installers do to help also pre-wet their roller cover and get any unwanted lint off the roller is you can pour a little bit of material on a clean surface like cardboard or plastic. That's perfect, thank you. And just pre-wet it. And if you have any lint, which I can see lint coming off on the cardboard, it's not going to end up on your surface here. So that's another good little trick. Okay, I'm going to go around to the other side, do the same thing. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is I always use the roller cover and I use the frame working away from where I started. So in other words, I'm not going to roll this way and come into it because I'm more inclined to see the line here. So and a lot of applicators don't realize that. So what I mean is I'm going to go out, roll it, and I'm going to overlap coming this way, and I'm ever so slightly applying more pressure over here, feather edging this. And it's just good technique for most epoxies, as opposed to doing it this way. You don't want to do it that way. You're more likely to see that line. So always work with the roller frame going away to your opposite side that way. Okay. All right, yesterday we applied the UMC seal coat, the SC, and roughly 15 hours has transpired. We're ready to go right over the top of this. If 24 hours elapses from the time that you put the SC down, it's a good idea to run over it with a 100 grit sanding screen and then solvent wipe that to get any residual dust off the surface. We're getting ready to demonstrate how to mix and ultimately install the UMC TG, which stands for trowel grade. Basically, same as the SC, you have a part 1, a part 2, a part 3, and of course we're going to demonstrate the pigment pack as well. So it's very simple mixing. All we're going to do is dump the part 1 into the bucket. We're going to then dump the part B into the bucket, mix that for 30 to 40 seconds, and then we're going to put the pigment pack into the mixture of the 1 and 2 and mix that for 30 or 40 seconds. And then we're going to take the part 3, which is cement, and we're going to mix that for a solid minute into the previously mixed 1 and 2 in pigment. This is the urethane cement, and then we're going to demonstrate how to trowel it down. So the TG represents trowel grade, obviously. On a small panel like this, simply for demonstration purposes, we're simply going to hand trowel it down. On a larger application, most installers are using what's called a screed box, which is basically like a little hopper that extrudes the material out. It's much quicker, probably 2 to 3 feet wide passes, and then once the material has been dispersed out onto the floor, oftentimes they'll use what's called a hover trowel, which is a very lightweight walk-behind trowel for troweling it. Some people will also just trowel right behind the screed box, so you can put it down a lot faster. But for demonstration purposes, we're going to show you how to do it on a small area like this with a hand trowel. Let's go mix. All right, that's our 30 or 40 seconds. Now Douglas is adding the pigment pack. So we have a good consistent homogeneous mix. I don't see any streaks. Everything is thoroughly mixed in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch to the larger drill and we're going to add the cement. So obviously I won't be talking because I've got to wear a mask to prevent the silica dust. There you go. Okay, now we're putting part 3 into the previously mixed part 1 and 2. All right, our mix is mixed now for 3 minutes. We're going to go ahead and show you how to just trowel down the TG. All right, this material goes down at approximately at a 1/4 inch thick. About 20 square feet is the yield or the coverage rate. Once you get it down, generally we have somebody come behind with a roller. That's what Douglas is going to demonstrate, and this roller's already been delinted. We've shown you in previous videos where we take the blue tape, and it just flattens it down. Good applications are commercial kitchens, thermal shock resistance in terms of hot water, cold water. Oftentimes on a loading dock where you have a ramp or where you have sloped kitchens with drains is another great example of where this product can be used. Extremely, extremely durable, abrasion resistant, and good, excellent chemical resistance as well. You can obviously see that this type of a material is sticky, so it's not bad to have a solvent like you see right here. This is the VOC compliant tool cleaner from Durman, and keep your trowel clean. That's just going to help you trowel it down. And notice when Douglas rolls, it really lays the material down and wets it out, gives you a really nice surface. So the next step is we let this completely cure out, typically 18 hours or to the next day, and then we top coat it with a polyaspartic, which we'll demonstrate. Okay, we're back the next day on our TG, which is our trowel grade version of our urethane concrete cement, and we are getting ready to apply the Perdure P72 top coat. Now, it's mandatory on the urethane concrete to go ahead and put the non-skid additive, the aluminum oxide, into the material because it's very slippery when you put this on a surface like urethane concrete. So we're getting ready to mix the Perdure P72. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. You do have the ability to tint the material. Refer to the Durman website for the proper dosage rates of pigment. But it's a part A, part B. It's a 1-to-1 mix ratio, and you're going to mix for 2 to 3 minutes, and then the working time is roughly 15 minutes, depending on the substrate and ambient temperatures and the humidity levels. Now, what you do want to do is vacuum the surface. We previously scuff sanded it and screened it, vacuumed it, and then we take acetone, and while one person is spraying acetone, we're following behind with a clean microfiber pad, and we're taking that residual dust off. That's really, really important for adhesion. So we're going to mix and apply the Perdure P72 over the TG trowel grade urethane concrete. Douglas is getting ready to apply the Perdure P72 over the trowel grade urethane concrete. You roll it down at an approximate rate of about 250 to 300 square feet per coat per gallon. Also for efficiency, it's not a bad idea to use an 18-inch wide roller. And also, you can probably see in this video that we're sweating. It's very warm in conditions like this, and it's a great idea to make sure you have roller covers going so you could switch out, because the material would start setting on that first batch. So always periodically change out your roller covers on large applications. Douglas just finished rolling the Perdure P72 polyaspartic coating over the trowel grade urethane concrete, and it's going to be about 4 to 6 hours before you would turn it over for light traffic.